Welcome to the Living Big podcast, where we're all about embracing life to the fullest. Hey, I'm Marlie.
And I'm Kylie, and we're thrilled you're here. We explore how to pursue our passions, nurture meaningful connections, and inject some serious fun into our lives.
We're here to show you you're not alone.
And we want to do what we can to ease the stresses of everyday life and help you in your journey of living big.
Welcome back to another episode of the Living Big podcast. We've just had a moment. We've had a moment. We just kind of talked. We were just kind of venting, getting it all out there. It was good.
Yeah.
I think it was good. I have to address the elephant in the room before we go any further. Kai opens the door this evening. I'm walking in with all my stuff. I look at her and I pause because we realize that we're wearing the exact same outfit.
Exactly the same.
Yes. I'm wearing a white shirt, but
yeah. But they're very similar, hues, and this is the exact same color jumper.
Yep. I got mine when I was pregnant because these are the most comfortable things to wear when you're pregnant.
No, it's like the live-in staple for pregnancy.
Yeah. It's like the only thing that looks kind of cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You look put together, but you feel like you're wearing pajamas.
Right.
I love that.
And we kind of look a little bit like Oompa Loompas, but it's okay.
Especially with the belly.
Yeah.
Like,
but they're so cute. Okay, anywho. But then I'm not pregnant anymore, but I still like wearing it because it still feels like pajamas.
Oh, it's so comfy. They're
Yeah.
cute. I mean, it's way in. It's like a free people's staple. So.
Exactly. Free people's like the moment right now.
Yeah.
Have you seen those micro jorts that they've been putting out?
No.
They look like diapers.
Oh.
I'll have to show you some pictures. Go look it up. I'll put it in the stories. But there are these shorts that are made out of jeans, and they're like bikini style.
Interesting.
Shorts. Not like Daisy Dukes, but like cut like a bikini bottom.
That sounds really bad.
A little bit cheeky. They're really bad. I think they call them micro shorts. You know what we used to call like short shorts or hot shorts? Micro shorts.
Yeah, that just with a mom butt, it's just not sounding like super ideal.
Well, what do you do with pockets?
Oh, I'm sure there's nothing.
Well, some of them have extra layers for pockets. So they're kind of wings on top of your shorts.
On top of non-shorts.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds interesting. Some of the things I can get behind. Some of the things I'm like, nope.
Yeah. I don't even know how we got there. Oh, we're living in the cute, comfy era. We don't really believe in jeans much these days.
No, I literally can't wear them. So I don't believe in them at all. Someday.
As you should. Yeah. We're not as cool as Katie, who was in jeans like 2 weeks after having a baby.
1 week.
My gosh.
It was like instant.
Maybe it's just because she had a really comfy pair of jeans.
No, she says she just genuinely loves jeans. Like,
They
she's like,
really
I
comfy,
love
though.
to wear jeans.
She's probably found some good ones.
Yeah, she says she gets men's Levi's.
Oh.
And she's like, they're comfortable. They have deeper pockets.
Oh.
She's like, they're so cute. So that's her hack.
Really?
Men's Levi's.
I always thought her jeans were so cute on her, but that
men's Levi's.
I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good to know.
We might have to do some
I know.
shopping and thrifting to get some men's Levi's.
I have to try that. All right. So let's get into our episode today.
Which has nothing to do with fashion.
Nope.
Quite literally the opposite.
Very much the opposite. Oh my gosh. I am way too excited about today's episode. Kai was talking about this thing. We were talking about kind of getting ready for our recording or whatever. And you kind of went on the deep dive, explained what was going on. I was like, oh my gosh, kind of a light bulb went off in my head. So I hope that kind of happens with everyone else too.
I feel like a lot of people haven't heard of this.
Yeah.
But when you do, it's like, this is sick.
It makes so much sense. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're talking about growth a little bit for a minute. Oh yeah. I was going to talk about our growth. Oh yeah. Okay. I remember.
Going back.
So sorry, friends. Okay. I just wanted to take a moment before we get way into things, to just say how grateful and kind of shocked we are, that one, people are enjoying the podcast, people are engaging with the podcast and the things we're putting on social media and things. We are blown away. This last week, we had just released our episode with Meg. with Meg Livingston.
Which by the time you hear this, that's been out for a while.
Yeah,
but
it's been out for us. It's been out for a week,
we're
but it's
pre-recording because I'm having a baby.
Right,
soon.
we're trying to get ahead of things. Trying to give her a maternity leave. And we had crazy numbers for listens, for views, for everything, and it is so fun. We're just loving everything that people are adding to the podcast and people's thoughts, people's just participation.
Yeah, the community that's being built already
Yeah.
is so awe-inspiring to us. Literally, when we first started this, obviously we want to build a community, but we were kind of like, if that doesn't happen and it's something that we enjoy and it's really fun, then that's super worth it. And we love what we're talking about. Like, I even re-listened to our episodes and I have so much fun. But it's cool to see that it's actually making an impact on real people. And you guys are so supportive and kind. So we just have to thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Okay. I'm just excited to see what's going to happen over the next 6 months, because by the time this comes out, we will have been doing this for 6 months. 6 months worth of episodes will be out. I know.
That's crazy.
So I'm just excited to see what's going to happen for the next 6 months and then from there on out, because we're not stopping anytime soon.
Keep sharing with your friends. Again, we want more and more feedback, and we want to hear what you guys are liking. We want to change it to be exactly how you guys want it. So keep sharing with friends.
Yep. Okay. Cool. And now, without further ado, because that's all it's been up until now, today we're talking about type 2 fun. Yes. Okay. Now, let me preface. Fun is quantifiable.
Yes.
You can measure fun.
Yeah.
And there's a 3-type system that we're going to go off of. Okay. So we're going to first talk about type number 1. Fun type number 1.
Yeah.
Is just fun. It's fun while you're doing it. It's fun after the fact. Think about having a little picnic in the park, right? On a sunny day, playing games with friends or family, watching a comedy show or movie and laughing together, enjoying a leisurely bike ride around the neighborhood. Okay.
It doesn't take too much effort. It's just fun, and it just like happens. It's easy. It's not crazy pants.
It's easy to create the fun. That's type level 1.
Type 2 is where you're getting into some ish a little bit. Type 2 fun is often hot, wetty, muddy, or uncomfortable. Type 2 fun is it hurts a little bit to do it, but it's really fun in retrospect. And it's more fulfilling in the long run than maybe just type 1. Type 1 is fulfilling, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But type 2 builds some things inside of you.
It grows some hair on your chest.
It's not just fun.
It builds character.
Yeah.
That's what I think of.
Yep. That's a great way to put it. It's like things like hiking or trekking or camping or kayaking or like a grand adventure.
Right.
That takes some more work. Like I think of kayaking down a river, you're navigating rough waters, you get sprayed, but you like have an adrenaline rush and it's super beautiful and you have an awesome story after. Yep. For us, a lot of type 2 fun is outdoor fun.
Right.
So camping in the wilderness.
Right.
Dealing with bugs, uncomfortable sleeping conditions.
Peeing on yourself outside.
Which we've talked about on the podcast already.
Yep. Can I weasel that into every single episode?
I have peed on myself.
Yes. That's usually within the type 2 fun.
Yes. But it's fun because you cherish those memories and you really, really gain something from them. Yeah. And it's usually like you share some camaraderie around the campfire type stuff, and you have tons of stories afterwards.
There is something about eating food when you're camping and you're all covered in a little bit of dirt. You did a big hike. You have to bring all of your own stuff with you and bring it all back. You got kids running around. That meal over a fire after you've done a bunch of stuff, I don't know if there's much better.
It hits different.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
You roast the perfect marshmallow. After that, perfection.
So good. Speaking of roasting things, we need to try roasting Rice Krispie treats because I've heard it like caramelizes the marshmallows.
I've never thought of that.
And
it
you
literally
only have to
has
bring one.
marshmallows
It's on a stick.
and it's gluten-free.
I know. Anyway,
We're going to have to try that.
yeah, we'll let you know how it is.
We like to do bonfires a lot. We call them bum fires, but We do them pretty frequently.
Yeah.
So
As soon as it's like almost warm.
yeah, like we've already done a few and it's been cold.
We start in like February.
Yeah.
Like, let's go to the mountains. It's set in the snow.
Yeah. Yeah. Anywho, okay. So that's type 2 fun. Type 3 is it's just not fun. Okay. It is hard.
Yeah.
And then in retrospect, it's still not fun to think about. And I have to give a couple of examples here. Obviously, getting lost in the wilderness with dwindling supplies. Okay. Feeling scared, disoriented, desperate for rescue, participating in a grueling endurance race, battling fatigue, dehydration, physical pain throughout the event, getting caught in a sudden thunderstorm while hiking, feeling cold, wet, miserable with no immediate shelter. I can think of at least two very distinct moments where I have type 3 fun. Ooh,
Type 3. I gotta do
yeah.
this.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Type 3 fun is where it's just not fun, but it can shift
Yeah.
with time and healing. You know, maybe you got to go to therapy a little bit about it.
You just need a lot of time in between.
Right. Yes. And then it can shift into type 2 fun and you look back and then you're like, wow, I'm actually proud of myself for doing that. Okay.
And maybe I'll do it again.
Right.
But sometimes type 3 fun is just absolutely never will I ever participate
Never, ever, ever.
in that crazy banana pants thing ever again.
Right.
Yeah.
So my type 3 fun, it's a very popular hike here in Utah. If you go down to Zion National Park, which highly recommend, it is one of the most breathtaking, awe-inducing places ever on the planet. It's so cool. But we did probably the most famous hike there, which is called Angel's Landing. Okay. And there are I would say there's like 3 sections to the hike. Okay.
Yeah.
So the first part is like switchbacks kind of thing. Hate switchbacks. They're the worst, but I can get through them. They're
Type
pretty
2
safe. Type 2 fun. Absolutely. Right. Okay. So you go through your switchbacks. I should also preface and say that there's a lot of people that do this hike. And so they've recently changed it to where you have to have a permit in order to do this hike.
Which is smart.
Thank the Lord, because it's dangerous. People have literally died
Because
on
they're
this hike.
crawling around each other on a tight cliff.
Yes. So that's part number 1 is the switchbacks. Part number 2 is you're kind of like climbing on the rocks and stuff and you're walking up the red rocks and it's really cool. The part number 3 is the chains. Okay. Where you're holding on to just a chain and it is so narrow.
Either side of you. And you're fighting people to get across this thing. And this is where people have died. And so some people don't even go past a certain point. There's like a point where you can stop and be done. And Not
it's
do
still
the chain part.
It's still a beautiful view. It's still very accomplished feeling.
And
kind
you're
of thing.
way high up so you can see like the whole canyon.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful.
It's so cool. You're still really high up and it's awesome. Anywho, but then you can do the chains. So I think if I had gotten to just that point and been like, I'm done, it would have been type 2 for me. But then it was a week before I got married and Eager's family was with us. I didn't own hiking boots or shoes or anything.
Were you wearing Birks?
I was wearing old Birkenstocks, friends.
Which is not the shoe
No.
for any hike, but especially not this hike.
They were slip-on Birkenstocks.
And it's slick. That sandstone rock. Ooh.
It is so dangerous, okay? I slipped so many times.
That would be so scary.
So by the
to
time
slip.
I was at the top, I was in full-blown panic mode and crying.
No wonder.
Yeah, hated it.
Hiram and I did that like a week before we got married too. I don't know. Is that
I
like
don't know if we had talked about that. I
is
didn't
that
know
like
you
a
did that.
bucket list before you get married?
Before
thing
you
in
get
Utah?
married, go do Angel's Landing, I guess.
But we did it with his family and he was cracking me up because I have done it multiple times. I grew up here in Utah.
Right.
So it's like
You've hiked. You grew up hiking.
I grew
I was
up
new to hiking as well. That was a new
I
thing.
mean, clearly, if you're wearing
Birkenstocks.
but I was like, this is not a big deal or whatever. And he was being super cute and protective, but he was so nervous. He's like, I want to put a leash on you. And I was in front of him and he's like, if you die, he's like, I am diving off the cliff. He's like, if you fall, I'm diving. He's like, I'm going to marry you in a week. And he's like, I'm not doing this. Like, we're not losing you. So he's literally like,
I wish that I had the leash. I really
He
do.
was panicking the whole time. And I was laughing so hard because I was like, I'm independent and strong and blah, blah, blah. But it's also kind
Well,
of
you've done it before too, so.
And I was wearing hiking, shoes.
Yes.
Appropriate.
You
footwear.
had the gear. Yeah. See,
But
that
it's
was
still
my type
sketchy
3.
even with all that, because literally, like you said, there's so many people and there's one chain and it's so skinny that people are walking like forward and backwards, right? To the edge of this cliff.
Yep.
You have to put your arm around somebody to get around them so they can pass. There's no like two-way passing happening.
And if you don't, you will fall. You have to be holding on.
Yeah.
And it's not like you're wearing a harness and you're clipped into this thing.
Yeah.
Although that would make so much sense.
Yeah.
No, you're just using your hands.
The reason you're not clipped in is because every bit on the chain has like a pole, right? So you can't be, I mean, you could unclip, but it's like the Disneyland of national parks.
It really is though.
And it's that way for a reason. It's definitely the most epic hike.
I think it's like the top.
views.
I think it's in the top 3.
Yeah.
I think it's Yosemite, Yellowstone, and Zion.
Yeah.
And maybe in a different order. Maybe it's Yellowstone, Yosemite, Zion, but I'm pretty sure Zion is top 3.
No, it's iconic.
Yeah. And it's amazing. Like, it was so beautiful at the end of it, but I was also like, I couldn't quite enjoy it because I was so scared.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Eager
hard.
was like having to catch me many, many times.
Oh. Yeah, type 3 fun. I was talking to my mom about this today too, because I was asking her, I grew up in a type 2 fun family, meaning everything we did, not everything, but most everything we did was a grand adventure. We had a lot of mishaps, we had fails, but we learned a lot and we were challenged a lot. And I was asking my mom, I was like, that's not totally normal for everybody. Like, what inspired you to do that? Because now it's normal for me. And so I'm like, oh yeah, I want to keep doing that with my kids.
Yeah.
But when we were talking about doing this on the podcast, I was like, there are lots of people who probably want to do this stuff that never have, don't even know that type 2 fun is attainable.
Right.
And I'm like, what gave you guys like
The
sheer,
audacity.
the audacity and the sheer just like willpower to do that? And she was talking about some of their memories and everything and why they decided to do that. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But she was mentioning some of the type 3 funs they've had where, you know, they're going diving or whatever. And she dives down and directly smacks into a massive rock and like, you know, shreds her knee. So she's like, that's not fun. I don't want to do that again.
Ooh.
Like, we drove into a river and flooded the car and I don't want to do that again. So this
That's
is like
fair.
some of the fails. For me, probably my biggest one that I wanted to do so bad was rim to rim of the Grand Canyon in one day.
Do you call that a type 3 or a type 2?
I call it a type 3.
Really?
For me.
Okay.
Yeah, because I did it even though I wanted to do it so badly. I did it a little bit unprepared because it was last minute. I was 5 weeks pregnant and my knees were just absolutely not up for the game. And at the end, like the last whole up section, so you go down, across, and up. The entire Grand Canyon in a day. It's very intense.
How many miles is this?
It's a marathon.
And elevation.
I don't remember the elevation, but it's crazy.
From my people from Texas, when you're doing elevation, that's the hard part.
Yeah.
I can go distance. I can walk 26 miles in a day. Easy. It's the straight up a mountain.
It's straight down a mountain, straight across the hot bottom, and then straight up again. And going down immediately, I was like,
oh no,
my knees, I can't do this. Oh no. But you get life flighted if you can't make it out. And that's the only thing.
And you don't want to pay for a helicopter?
No.
I don't want to pay for a helicopter.
You can't sleep in the bottom unless you have gotten permits and things like that. And those have to be booked out like a year or two in advance. So that wasn't an option. We're getting down, across, and out of this thing.
Yeah.
But on the way up, I could not bend my legs. And so in my mind, I was like, I am going to die here. I'm pregnant. I'm holding this whole group up. Like, I felt so horrible. So it was definitely a type 3 fun, which is weird because, again, in retrospect, I'm like, I would do it again. I just would want to make sure my knees were good. But afterwards, I walked like a grandma for like a straight month because I could not bend my knees. I literally would have to scramble up stairs, like lay on my belly to get up them because I couldn't bend my legs. It was so bad.
Oof.
But it taught me a lot of things. So it's like kind of like a 2-3, like kind of swings back and forth depending on the day.
It's a 2.5.
Yeah. It's a 2.5.
There definitely can be 2.5s. I think that.
Yeah.
Where it's harder than normal.
And it's not super fun in retrospect, but it's like I really gained a lot from it.
And are you proud of yourself for doing it?
So proud.
There you go. See, I feel like a type 3 is like take it or leave it. I could have not done that and still been fulfilled in my life.
That's a good point. So yeah, it's a 2.5.
I think it's a 2.5. Yeah.
So why type 2 fun? Like, why even do this? And for some people,
Yeah.
it's okay if you don't want to participate in type 2 fun.
Yeah.
No harm, no foul.
Totally fine.
No shame, no shade. It's all good.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it. But we specifically want to dive into why type 2 fun can be so beneficial, not only for you, but for your family. And how it can be super, super amazing for little kiddos. And again, for those who have like been interested in dabbling but haven't known where to start, we're going to talk about why you should do it, why it's not going to be just fun, why it might suck at moments.
Yep.
But why you should just absolutely go for it.
Yeah.
Some of the common questions and objections that you might get from kids as you're trying to dive into the type 2 fun, which is any harder activity, road tripping, traveling in general with kids, hiking, camping, anything that takes a little bit more work than just let's pull out a board game or, let's turn on the TV and watch a nice show together.
Yeah.
Might take a little bit more effort than that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Some of the things that you might deal with and have to overcome, especially with children involved, is you'll probably get complaints from kids.
Yep.
And to
Or
be
from
honest,
adults too.
Yeah, I was going to say sometimes I complain. And I'm like the one who like planned it.
Right.
That was me in Rim to Rim. I was like the entire up. I was like, I hate my life. I want to die. This is horrible. I don't know why we did this.
Oh yeah, I've definitely had that. 100%.
Yeah.
So many times actually.
Yeah.
We're all about just honesty here. Like type 2 can really suck. And it can suck a lot. It can suck consistently.
But it also rocks.
I know.
Maybe we're messed up. I'm just kidding.
A little masochistic.
Yeah. My parents certainly are. So that's where I gained that from. No, but I feel like when you're dealing with complaints from kids, I think some of the important things to overcome some of those challenges is to try and involve them in the decision making.
Yeah.
Let them have some power, and then also set realistic expectations.
Yeah.
Like, do not be expecting that it's going to go perfectly
Within the time frame that you think it's going to happen.
Yes. And that might
That they're going to sleep 100% beautifully, like they should.
You're like, oh, we're going camping and we're all going to lay there, and they're so excited. Like when we went camping this past weekend, Coley was more excited than I can ever explain to go camping in her triangle tent.
Yep. Leah was very excited. Big tent, big tent.
Did they sleep?
No.
Not a wink.
Nope.
Did I expect them to? Yeah, I actually did. I thought she sleeps in a pack and play regularly on trips. She'll be fine.
Sure.
Did they? No, they did not. And so, you know, just keeping those expectations real low.
Really low. Like if you think they're low, go lower.
And then you're not going to be mad.
Then it's going to be okay.
And then I think the other thing too with kids that are complaining, really emphasizing the rewards of overcoming those challenges can be really helpful. And understand that you're human too and you complain. Right. So it's like, yeah.
I think what's helped us is like obviously like our kids are not old enough always to like understand the reward kind of thing. Yeah. So it's like a reward that I have to just keep in my brain.
Yes.
So that's one. And then two, I always have to have like an out if I need it.
Yes.
And just be like, okay, if at any point this super sucks
and it's not working,
we're done. We're just going to pack up and be done. This episode is proudly sponsored by Event Penguin, your go-to solution for creating unforgettable events. Say goodbye to clunky and hard-to-use event sites and create your next event in minutes today.
Whether it's a party, conference, or a networking event, Event Penguin has everything you need to bring your vision to life. Visit eventpenguin.com today and discover beautiful, customizable event pages that make planning a breeze. With a seamless guest experience, Event Penguin lets you focus on what truly matters, making your event a smashing success. Start building your community through events effortlessly. Jump in.
That's it. Mm-hmm. And I've had to do that. Not very many times, but I've had to.
Yeah. And that's okay. It's like, again, keeping those expectations real low.
Yeah.
And just trying to go for it, you know?
Yeah. Igor and I went to do another hike in Zion National Park, but it's a not as popular hike. No, it's intense.
Super intense.
It's very intense, but it's not as popular, and you have to have a permit for it. It's called the subway. And you walk through just
so cool.
It's very similar to kind of the Narrows, where you're just walking through a river basically the entire time. Igor had gotten his wisdom teeth out like the day before.
Woof.
Yeah. And he was like, I'm fine. We had gotten our permits. We were so ready. We didn't have enough water. I kept stepping on tadpoles because we were walking in a river.
Oh.
And so they're just under my feet, squishy.
Ew.
So gross. And Igor was in a lot of pain. And then we got to a point where we still had like quite a bit left. We were out of water. We were exhausted. And I was like, we're done. So we turned around. We walked back out. And it was long. We still had a long ways to go.
Yeah.
To get back out.
If you're turning around.
We were close to the end.
Oh no.
We hadn't even gotten to the subway, but we were so close to like the subway. I think
Okay.
we had like a fourth of a mile left. I know.
It would have been easier to just
Go all the way and then come back. It would have been easier.
Oh, because it's an out and back.
Because it would have been a half a
Gotcha.
mile that we would have.
It's an out and back.
Yeah, it's an out and back.
Okay.
In the hiking
That's
world,
different. That's different.
yeah, it's different.
For some reason, I'm thinking in my head if it's like a loop and you
Yeah.
guys turn around.
No, it
I'm
wasn't
like,
a loop.
oh no.
Mm-mm. It's an out and back. Anywho, so we're gonna have to go do that again. But
Yeah,
we
it's
had to
worth
just
it.
be done because
Yeah.
we didn't have enough water. We were miserable.
No, and if you're not prepared, then that totally changes. Again, that changes the experience from a 2 to a 3.
right,
You're like, I want to go redo it so I can enjoy it, but
Yeah.
we weren't totally prepared.
I
so
want to
it
change it
wasn't
from a
good.
3 to a 2.
Yeah.
Because then we got back to the car, and Igor zonked out, and I drove all the way home. Which normally he's the driver, but he was out
Wow.
because he,
Was so exhausted.
yeah.
Oh.
And I think it was mostly from his wisdom teeth.
Yeah.
Because usually you're supposed to take
So
it
timing.
easy.
Timing was not ideal on
No, don't do that. Probably heal a little bit.
that. Sometimes we go a little too crazy. So don't take all of our advice.
Yeah.
But some of it.
I think part of knowing though between like the 2s and 3s and actually enjoying it to make it a 2, even if it is a really hard thing, is knowing your limits,
And being really prepared.
being prepared, having your really low expectations, because some people just don't know their limits kind of thing.
Until you're out there.
And then they just go too far.
Yeah.
They take it too far.
Yeah.
Or their expectations are way too high or too rigid, maybe. Things like that. So,
Ugh.
yeah.
There are so many benefits of teaching children how to specifically have type 2 fun. The resilience alone.
Mm-hmm.
Because life is going to be hard. It's not going to be just like playing a board game and turning on a TV show all the time. Like you're hit with real hardships. And so I feel like for me, the benefit of doing lots of type 2 fun activities when I was young is it taught me so much resilience for when those hard moments happen inevitably in regular day-to-day life, right? It helped me persevere. It helped me like understand I can do anything I want and I'm the only one who limits myself.
Yeah.
Which was so important. Some of the things that it can do to help children with perseverance and resilience is emotional resilience. It can actually improve physical health. It can help kids connect with nature. It can teach survival skills. It can teach resilience in adversity with both better mental health. You know, you won't crumple under pressure as much if you can learn these things when you're young.
Right.
It can help you with your own self-confidence, problem-solving skills, and do we not all benefit so much from feeling that sense of accomplishment? Like you were saying, are you proud of yourself? I'm like, yeah, I am. Is that not like the best feeling in the world?
Absolutely.
We're like chasing that and we crave that.
Yep.
It shows that you're strong, you're capable of more than you think you are.
Yeah.
And I thought this was interesting. When I was little, my dad said, are you a pool girl or are you an adventure go-getter girl? Not that a pool girl's a bad girl. Love that. That's awesome. But for me, he was just like reminding me like, well, what do you want? Like, and there are times and places where you lay by the pool and you sip a pina colada and that is amazing. And I love that. And I am partially a pool girl.
I was going to say, definitely still also a pool girl.
But his kind of like roundabout way was just like, are you just going to be take the easy route, or are you gonna like go after these like hard adventures? Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I want to be the adventure girl. I want to do that.
I love that.
I wanted to like see how many barriers I could break, right? And see how much I could actually accomplish. And I love talking about specifically backpacking was a huge thing in my family when we were younger. My dad took me on my first backpacking trip when I was 9, which now sounds old to me because I'm like, we'll probably take Coley when she's like 4.
Right.
But it was my solo, like not, I wasn't by myself, but I carried my own pack with all my stuff in it. And I went with my dad and all of his old adult siblings. So it was like 4 or 5 days, like very much huge backpacking trip.
Yeah.
We ran out of food at one point. We had to catch fish, which was a traumatic experience for me. But I learned how to do a really annoying sound. I annoyed the adults all day with it. You know, it was very productive. And I have very fond memories of that.
That's awesome.
And it got me into loving that. And this story, I feel like, just had to be in here. Like I said, I am a pool girl.
Yeah.
I am not straight granola. I like makeup. I
We're
like cute
semi-crunchy.
clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah, semi-crunchy. I like to curl my hair. I want to go shopping.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love a little treat.
We love a good drink. Like
I love
a little Olipop,
Yeah.
poppy.
Bubble bath. I'm all for all of the girly feminine stuff.
Absolutely.
But when I was in high school, I remember distinctly, I was in a class with some boys and the teacher had us going around and doing the whole like icebreaker stuff. Meet them, tell them something they don't know about you. And I told this group of guys, I'm way into backpacking and camping and stuff.
Yeah.
And they looked at me and they were like, no way. We don't believe that for a second. You are a shopper girl.
What?
Makeup wearing shopper girl.
Because girls can't be both.
No.
Absolutely not.
And I was like, you guys are tools.
Absolutely.
I was so mad. And God gave me the best gift he ever could have given me the very next summer. Because I went backpacking with my family. And we had been gone for 5 days. We had backpacked in the Uintas. We had just summited Kings Peak. So it's like an epic for the people in the backpacking world. That's a really epic peak to do. And I was coming down the trail back towards the cars. And this is an out and back experience. I'm coming back towards the cars.
Haven't showered in 4 or 5 days.
No, I'm skipping along. I was wearing mascara. I'll just put that out there. I wear mascara even when I go camping.
Right.
Because that's, again,
We wear sunscreen.
I'm a mixed bag.
Yes.
Like
Absolutely.
whatever.
I can have a cute hat.
Yeah. My outfit was cute.
I plan my hiking outfits.
Yeah.
But they're hiking approved.
Yes. Anyway, I'm skipping along with my backpack and we've just had a grand old time. And I magically ran into those 5 dudes coming from the cars to go backpacking. And they passed me, and I'm not kidding when I say their jaws were literally on the floor. And I was like, thank you. Like, I didn't create that petty moment. That was given unto me. And I just absolutely loved it. I reveled in it. I was like, I flipped my hair, braid or whatever. And I was like, high fives. And they were like, oh, Kylie is a backpacking
Oh my gosh.
shopper girl.
Yeah, she's backpacking Barbie.
They didn't believe me, but God showed them what was what.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
And that's one of my proudest moments.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so good. We're going to talk about the importance of family adventures. We've talked about, the benefits and all that fun stuff. At least for me. So we're kind of talking about this a little bit, that Eager and I camped and hiked so much within the first year of getting married, first 2 years of getting married, before we had Leo. And I think, honestly, that was really good for us.
Yeah.
It jump-started our relationship and our marriage to becoming what it is now. And I think it just kind of expedited some of the lessons and things that we needed to learn through marriage, because just now living together and figuring this whole thing out and, and it's a lot. And so being in these situations that might be a little bit tougher, they create problem-solving situations. They create moments where you're going to have to figure out how to be resilient, right? And it's not even just from a children's perspective. It's also relationally with your spouse or whoever you're hiking with, right?
Yeah.
So, obviously, these kinds of experiences can bond you as a couple, as a family, and personally. I mean, yeah, someone was asking me, I had like posted something on Instagram and they were like, how do you go camping so much? How do you do all of that? And it was like, what do you mean? Like, how do you do that? Because in my brain, and it's so funny because I did not grow up camping very frequently.
Yeah.
When we did, it was the type 3 fun because we were covered in bugs. And
Because you're in Texas.
we were right off of the lake where there's mosquitoes galore and June bugs are hitting you in the face. And I remember my dad burning my mom's hair.
Oh.
Like, it just was not, it wasn't this kind of fun.
It wasn't enjoyable.
And then
even
you
in
wake up
retrospect.
in a pool of your own sweat. You know?
Oh, that sounds intense.
So there's also like water moccasins and cottonmouths and rattlesnakes and, you know, whatever
A different world.
creepy, crawling, nasty things out there.
Yeah.
So
Not
no.
your favorite experience.
Not my favorite place to camp.
Yeah.
So then I started camping with Eager in places down in southern Utah where there aren't nasty snakes everywhere. There are snakes. I'm not going to lie. There are snakes. But if you're there when it's colder, like cooler,
Yeah.
there's not snakes.
Yeah.
And there's not bugs. And there are some of the most incredible things to see out in the world. Oh my goodness, it's so awesome. Anywho, yeah, like some of the first times that we camped, some of our type 2 times are even some of the first times that even like we bonded. We went to Salamander Flats and it was snowing
Right.
in our little sun dome is what it's called. It's like a $20 tent from Walmart that is not meant for the cold.
Yeah.
Or we went to Yellowstone together, Eager and I, a month after we got married, and we woke up with ice covering our tent. Same thing, sun dome. It was very cold. And we just like kind of look back and laugh at that, but we're grateful for the memories
Yeah.
and that we did the thing. Definitely type 2 fun for
The
me.
family bonding alone, I feel like, is like, I mean, obviously there's personal growth and there's resilience and there's
Right.
so many good lessons you can learn. But the family bonding alone, I'm like, most of my best memories as a kid and looking back at that family was when we were having some type of type 2 fun. So I'm like, I want to recreate that for my kids.
Yeah.
For all the benefits, but the family bonding alone is like so worth it to me.
Yeah.
Like for us, sometimes we got lost. And it always turned out to be a really cool, interesting experience that we like learned from. We would get in sticky situations and we had to learn how to problem solve and navigate. And that's why I can direct my husband in the car when he doesn't know where we're going.
And obviously it worked out because here you are.
Yeah.
You've never gotten that lost.
No, not yet.
We're not jinxing anything here.
No, but legitimately too, like it's given us so many opportunities to help other people when we've ended up in crazy situations.
Or even being helped.
Yeah.
Just like little things. We forgot marshmallows and we were able to like go ask people.
And then we gave them camping donuts in the
Right,
morning as a thank
exactly.
you. Or sometimes like really intense moments, like in Lake Powell, we've dealt with some insane storms with my family. And because we've done this so many times and we've been through so many sticky, tricky, chaotic situations, we were able to be kind of like steady amidst chaos and help people. I remember one time specifically, we got to the dock and there's boats on either side of the dock trying to stay on the dock for dear life, but the dock is like bucking up and down.
Oh no.
And the boat next to us, like the boat was almost flipping up over onto the dock,
that's so
onto our
scary.
boat. And the boat next to us on the other side of the dock was full of like 8-year-old girls, like tons of them. I don't know if it was some girls' camp. I don't know. But like these
They're
flash
freaking
storms
out.
happen and they're really
Yeah.
scared. And literally the dock is going up and down and up and down. And it's connected at different points. So like they didn't know how to run across. Well, instead of just like running for the trailer, to save myself, because I'd been in so many of these situations. I'm like, I can stay, I can help. My dad, you know, would grab a girl by her life jacket, pull her out, give her to me, and I would hunker down and run her across the dock, and then he would do the same thing. We were able to like help. So it's just so cool. You can roll up your sleeves, you can kind of learn some things, you can help, you can bless, you can get helped in return.
Get a little messy in there.
But what you were saying about you and Eager camping.
Yeah.
And people asking you about that.
Yeah.
I think I have like a hard truth I want to share. I've also gotten this a lot. I think there's like kind of two different sides to this question of like, how do you do this? I think there's genuine interest and question, like, oh my gosh, that looks intense.
Like, what do you need to do in order to get going into that thing?
How can I attain that same thing?
Yeah.
How do I get started? What do you recommend? Or again, they've never done it and they're just like, whoa, that looks hard. How do you do that?
I can never do that.
I can never do it. Or there's the side that is, I like less. That's like, how do you do that? And like, they act like they want to do it too. But they don't really want to put in the effort. And so then I don't love that question. Like, if you're genuinely interested and you want to try this, absolutely. If you're like somehow judging me or trying to limit me or yourself, like, I don't like that question as much. Yeah. So I'm like, if you want to do this, you can do it.
Yeah. Don't
give me excuses as to why you can't. If it's like, ooh, you guys always do that, but like, it costs money. Yeah, a tank of gas costs money. Right. And a $20 tent from Walmart. You can afford that even when you're dirt poor, barely married.
That's what we did. That is literally how we did it.
With food 100%. You're already going to eat at your house. Yep. Or get a free tent on Facebook Marketplace. So if you want it bad enough, you can make it happen. So I don't like the excuse part.
Oof.
But if you don't want it, it's not a priority.
Yeah.
Or you just don't know where to start. Those are all fine.
Yeah.
That's all good.
That's totally fine.
But don't act like you want it.
Yeah.
And then put up a whole bunch of excuses and like judgment. Anyway, that's my 2 cents there. My little harsh truth.
That's a little. Yes, the hard truth.
But I've heard this so many times. Wait until you have kids. You just won't be able to do that anymore.
Oh, I hate that. Anytime anyone starts with, but just wait until this, I'm like, excuse you.
Do not limit me.
You don't know what I'm capable of. And just to spite you, I'm going to do everything in my power to show you you're wrong.
Or do whatever you want now because it's not going to be possible later.
Sleep while you can. Or like,
you just don't know. I'm like, you know what? No.
Okay, here's the thing. 2 weeks after having Leo, we went to Zion National Park. We glamped. We went to a place. We didn't pitch a tent. We stayed in a little cabin. Okay. We drove around the park because your girl was still healing, right? Leo was a newborn. And then 5 weeks later, we went down to Mesa Verde. I was pumping in the car. And on the way, we got a hotel. We were taking it really, really easy. But we were doing it.
But you still did a hard thing.
Yeah.
And again, if you don't want to, okay.
Yeah.
No
That's
problem.
Fine. You do you.
If you don't want to be doing that postpartum.
Exactly.
If you don't want to be doing that with kids at all.
It's not for everyone, and it is not for the faint of heart. I will tell you, it was hard.
Yeah.
It was hard.
But if you want to,
you
no
totally
more
can.
excuses.
Just do it. Yeah.
Unless they're very real.
Right.
But these ones like, oh my gosh, you're just so privileged because you have a tent. Well, yeah, I prioritized that.
Right.
Over something else.
Right.
And I made it happen. Or I rented one.
Yeah.
Or I borrowed one.
Right.
Or I got it for free. Or I got it from Walmart for $20 or whatever it is.
Exactly.
Like, whatever you want to make happen, you can make happen. That's what I'm trying to say.
You can actually do it. Yep. I 100% agree with that.
If that's important enough to you.
Yeah. And it, yeah.
So
and it is
don't limit yourself and don't limit me. Is my main message.
Yes.
Just kidding.
She's still talking to those boys who were saying she can't backpack.
In my opinion, too, and this again is maybe harsh, crazy, I don't know, but I believe in the philosophy that kids are along for the ride with you.
Yeah.
they're part of the crew, we don't completely revolve our life around our kids.
Yeah.
They join in. And not to say that we don't do kid stuff.
Our kids are on
absolutely
schedules.
do.
They go to sleep at a certain time.
Yeah.
They've got the blackout curtains and the sound machine, okay?
Right. We did all the things. But I also think that, like, it's really good to remember that you were developing a family before they ever came along. You have goals, you have priorities, you have things you want.
Yeah.
And they can come along for the ride, and they can learn, and they can grow, and they can love it, and they can complain, and they can hate it, and it can all be awesome.
Right.
Wrapped up in a ball.
Yeah.
So our podcast definitely isn't for the people who don't want to do big things, specifically this episode. This is definitely an episode for pushing yourself a little bit more,
Yeah.
right? And again, if you don't vibe with it, cool. No problem. That's great.
Yeah.
But if you want to do it, we're here to tell you you can make it happen.
You can absolutely do it.
And it's okay if it's hard. And it's hard for everybody. And that's important to remember too. I think we see on social media, they went camping and it must have just been like peaches
Right.
and cream.
Oh
It's
my
super
gosh.
easy.
I don't know if it's ever been peaches and cream.
And that's why I always say camping is a fine and pleasant misery,
Yeah.
because it's both.
Yeah.
It's both.
I think it's the contrast that makes it so special, though,
Yeah.
is you had a crappy night's sleep,
Yeah.
but you were seeing one of the most breathtaking things on the planet.
Yeah.
Oh, I
And
live for that.
And sometimes, like this last one, I remember, like, we usually feel recharged, and we
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah.
But we watched our girl have an absolute ball.
Yeah.
And so we were like, that's worth it.
Yeah.
And we'll take the little sleep deprivation, and maybe we'll take a little break before we do it again.
Probably don't drive 6 hours to Idaho
The
right
next
after.
day, and maybe don't sleep on the ground at 36 weeks pregnant
Yeah.
if your pelvic area is already out of place.
Yeah.
But that's, we live and learn.
I mean, I did that too.
Yeah, we just
Get a chiropractor.
bless. Seriously. You can overcome challenges, embrace the failures. There's so many epic mishaps, but those also make such amazing stories later.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're so important.
And I just want to reemphasize again, like, the importance of resilience and growth that comes from embracing these challenges.
Right.
And learning from failures and having type 2 fun.
Right. Start small. Do what you can.
Plan ahead.
Plan ahead. I mean, there's only so much planning you can do.
Yeah.
Because there's been times when I've totally planned and it's not been good.
No. But
Yeah.
if you're thinking through, like, okay, I know my kid can't really walk that much, so I'm going to bring a backpack for them to come right in. Like, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Thinking about their skill level, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's always helpful.
I will also say a pro tip is find other people that like to do what you do,
Yeah.
because it makes it
More
and we
doable.
don't always go with you guys and
Yeah.
vice versa, but it is really fun, and I think more doable when you do have other people that you can go with. Especially if you do want to make things maybe a little bit more budget friendly, is
Yeah.
being able to go halvesies with people on certain things. They're like, we want this tent. Cool. Let's pay half.
Right.
Or I want to get this nicer backpack to carry my kid in. Let's go halvesies on it, kind of thing. And we'll just trade off whenever we use it. Right.
Food, whatever it is. Like,
Yeah. Those definitely can make things a little bit cheaper.
yeah.
Yeah. So finding your right people to do things with. That's a pro tip.
Yeah. Another pro tip, embrace unpredictability.
Yep.
Because it's just not going to go according to plan, and be prepared to adapt, because you're going to have to.
Yeah.
That's like a given.
Yep. Oh man, I don't know how many times I've thought that Leo was going to sleep and then he just didn't. We went on, like, there was Memorial Day a couple years ago, and we were thinking, oh, I think he had just turned 1. And he was sleeping really well through the night, and we were like, he's going to be great. So we go on this road trip. We go to my favorite place in the entire world, which is, it's this BLM land. It's this just open land outside of Torrey, Utah, outside of Capitol Reef.
It's the best place to go.
It is so cool. If you ever get the chance, you have to go there. There's just a massive area.
And kids can roam free, and you're not worried about them getting in the road. Like, they can just go.
And there aren't people super close to you. It's not a campground. It's just land.
Yeah.
Anywho, but it's really, really nice. And I do feel very recharged every time I go.
Yeah.
Except this one time when Leo, he was supposed to sleep when we started driving there. It's like 3-hour drive. Didn't want to sleep at all. We get there. Cool. We're thinking we'll just see if he'll take a nap, put him in the pack play. Didn't sleep. Cool. Then we're like, let's go off-roading. See if the jostling kind of puts him to sleep. Wouldn't sleep. We get to about 10 o'clock at night and he still has not slept. Anywho, that was rough. We ended up having to pack up a little bit early and going home a whole like 2 days before we wanted to originally. It happens. It does. Like you have to take the L when you need to.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And that was, it was a bit of a fail, but it's okay. It's okay. We've gone back. We've done the whole thing again and then they've slept and it's been okay.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think it's great. Like embracing the failures and learning from them and then trying again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Celebrating achievements. Okay. Here's what I want to say about that is I think it's really important to document these things.
Yes. Document
all the things. Write it down in your day one app journal, right? Put it on Instagram. Have people validate you. It's great. It's just so fun to be able to look back at these things. What we do is we have an adventure book. I know you kind of do this too. Is we have two. So we have like an actual journal where we like write our thoughts, but then we have just like basically the pictures. So that way when our kids are old enough, they can kind of look through and be like,
oh, all the cool
these
things
are
we've
all
done.
the things we've done in the year. This is amazing. So anywho, it's so important to celebrate and document all the things that you've done.
Especially with kids, like no matter how small it is, like if you were expecting that they weren't going to be able to walk on the hike and they walked 200 feet of it.
Yes.
Like that is awesome. Celebrate those achievements, no matter how small during outdoor adventures, like sharing that teamwork and camaraderie with kids among family members is so, so important.
I love that. Yep. Yeah. So many things.
And reflect and learn.
Yep.
Like what you were saying.
Reflect.
Document it, but then also talk about it as a family again.
Yeah.
And like look through that picture book and say, remember when we did this hard, important, awesome thing? Like this was so cool. What are some of the lessons that we learned?
What was so fun about it? What was hard about it?
Like if we had just done those things as kids and just they were gone after that.
Yeah.
We talked about it after. It was so, so impactful because we talked about it after.
You almost have to like decompress or debrief from it, you know? Yeah. Super important.
Okay, and then to end this episode, we wanted to tell you that we are going to have a Living Big family event in tandem with this podcast episode where we're going to invite you guys to come experience Type 2 fun with us.
Yay.
And it's going to be so fun. There's going to be tons more details on social media and things like that, but it's going to be a family hike that is going to align with this theme of Type 2 fun. We want to embrace outdoor challenges with you guys, and we want to invite you guys to come do this with your families. I think it's going to be so fun. Family and friends come together. We're not going to pick a super crazy hard hike or anything like that.
We're not backpacking for 4 or 5 days.
No. Because we want everyone to be able to feel like they can come join this and experience that and just have a lot of fun together. So we're really excited. Please spread the word. Invite your friends and family and neighbors to join in on the Living Big adventure. But it's going to be an absolute blast to create these meaningful experiences with you guys.
Definitely. We're so, so excited. Thank you for being here today.
Get out there.
Yeah, hopefully we learned some stuff. Hopefully this motivated you to figure out what you want to do and kind of plan your next whatever it is, whether it's a hike, whether it's a kayaking trip, whether it's, I don't know, a cooking class or doing something, anything that's pushing you to learn and grow and do something a little bit hard and outside your comfort zone.
Yeah. You got this.
Yeah.
You could do it.
You're going to be great. Well, have a great week. We'll see you next time.
And have some Type 2 fun.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Living Big podcast. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts.
Join us on Instagram and TikTok for all the things, from relatable mom memes to fun girls' night ideas with your besties. See you next week.